Hey everybody, it's Joe from the Strange Voyage Files. It is December 22nd, 2025. You know what? We're gonna have a merry Ozzy Christmas week. Past 2 days I've done Ozzy unboxings. Just gonna do Ozzy until Christmas. Because all I really do want for Christmas is Ozzy. At least to come back, but we know that's not gonna happen. So this is the closest we're gonna get, just to celebrate the man. This one was inspired by those flipping the beat, not the See You on the Other Side box sets, but the Flip and the B side album that came with it. And I said some songs were missing. So what I wanted to do was to just kind of go through all the B sides that we have from Ozzy. Now, I'm leaving off anything he did with any other band. I'm leaving off Therapy that he did with Infectious Grooves, leaving off I Ain't No Nice Guy with Motorhead. So they're only Ozzy stuff. So, oh my. So solely going to be Ozzy stuff. Some of them will be extra album tracks, things like that. But you get the gist. I'm not going to rank them or anything like that. Maybe I'll do that in a different video, but just kind of want to go through them and talk about them. Now, I will say this list for me is front heavy with the best songs. If I was ranking them, it would probably go in this order for the top three. My favorite, and yes, I'm biased because it's Randy, but I still think it's a great song, is You Looking at Me, Looking at You. Now, this one was originally going to be on Blizzard of Oz instead of No Bone Movies, but they wanted Lee to have a writing credit. So they flipped it and they put You Looking at Me, Looking at You, as you can see as my background, as the B-side of Crazy Train. Problem with that was, as I've said many times in the past, it was impossible to find the song for a decade at least. Once this pressing of Crazy Train was gone, that was it. And there were subsequent pressings at that time. That was it. You Looking at Me was gone. I think it popped up in Japan or England around Bark at the Moon or something, but it's not like it is now where you had eBay and people were selling stuff. Sorry, guys. People were selling stuff on eBay and whatnot. So it wasn't really easy to get. But I love the song. It is my favorite Ozzy B-side. And I definitely, as much as I love No Bone Movies, it should have been on there instead of that one. The next one is You Said It All. And again, another great one they did while they were on the road. They wanted to have another song. It has that unfinished sound to it because it was recorded in like a makeshift studio while they were on tour. Ozzy was, I guess, drunk beneath the drum riser while they were playing it. But it's a great song. And again, that team of Randy Rhoads and Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake was just magic. Absolute magic. And Ozzy, too, he was great with melodies. But the initial writing of Bob Daisley and Randy Rhoads, there's never been anything better. That was the best ever. I don't care, Beatles, Stones, this was the best. Next one is, this would definitely be my third favorite. Just an awesome song. Because those two were off Blizzard. Nothing happened off Diary because they were rushed, to get that album written and recorded. There was nothing left of Diary. Then we lose the Troll fires Bob and Lee. And of course, we lose Randy. Then we get the Bark at the Moon lineup with two pretty cool B-sides. The first one is One Up the B-side, Innuendo. Great song. Jake is awesome on that song. It's a lot of fun. And then they followed that up. You know where you were. If you were in the U.S., your B-side was Spiders. If you were in the U.K. or Europe, your B-side was Slow Down. Both songs I like. I love Slow Down. Spiders is good. It is very creepy and whatnot. And it really is written and sounds like spiders crawling around the room while you're asleep. It's a good song. Definitely a B-side, though. One of the B-side could have been on Bark at the Moon, without a doubt. Spiders, no, it fit perfectly as a B-side. At least in the U.S. There was okay. So this is interesting. There's nothing for Ultimate Sin, but as God is my witness, I swear there was an interview with Ron Nevinson who produced that album in a magazine that said there was one song that was left off the album. Now, I have never heard anything else about this song, but I know I read because I went on a frantic search to see and always hoping this song, and he gave a title, and I, for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. But Ron Nevinson, who produced that album, and Ozzy couldn't stand the guy, but said there was one song that was left off the table. Makes sense, too, that there was. I can't believe that Phil Soussan only brought in Shot in the Dark. I bet there may be a couple more that are floating around somewhere, but as far as we know, nothing from Ultimate Sin. Then we go into No Rest for the Wicked, and there's two, pretty much. The first one is a bona fide single from I got it from the 12-inch Miracle Man, The Liar. It's a very haunting ballad. I loved it for a long time. I don't think it's as great as I once did. It's not bad, but I can see why they left it off. I think it would have definitely killed the vibe of that album had it stayed on. The other one is the non-album track, and when I say non-album, I really mean non-album. It was not on the LP, but it was on the cassette and the CD, which I didn't get. I mean, I guess this is the time. It's 88, so they're pushing CDs. I just didn't understand why it was also on the cassette. I could see a hidden track, because Dio does this with Why Are They Watching Me, although he doesn't hide it. It's listed on there. I could see them doing this to push CD sales because they want to push, the record industry wanted to push away from vinyl to go to CDs. I just don't get why it was on tape, too. And same thing with Lock Up the Wolves with Why Are They Watching Me? But I always thought it was I Don't Want to Be Your Hero. Or no, The Fool's No More. That's what I always thought it was, The Fool's No More, and it was actually called Hero. I didn't find that out till years later. A lot of people thought it was The Fool's No More. Great song. In fact, if they took the only really weak song on No Rest for Me is Devil's Daughter, if they could have taken that off and put Hero in its place, I think it would have made the album even greater than it is. But an awesome song. Hero is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous song. It should have been officially on the record. Okay, let's see. What's next? Oh, okay, the two from No More Tears. And these two came from an early inception of the album. And when Ozzy felt it wasn't, or Sharon felt it wasn't going in the right direction, it wasn't going to be a hit maker, which No More Tears ended up being. And it was smart because these two songs definitely were weak. The first one is Don't Blame Me. It's okay. It's kind of fun. The album was originally supposed to be called Don't Blame Me. There was a video. There was a VHS documentary and whatnot called Don't Blame Me. And that would have been a great title for the album. I think they should have kept that over No More Tears. But the Don't Blame Me sessions, there's that one. Don't Blame Me is okay. Absolute fitting B-side. If you were going to take anything off No More Tears for Me and put that on there, it would have been AVH. But good song. B-side worthy, album worthy, not so much. Other one that's even not as good, Party with the Animals. Again, it's a fun song. You can see the vibe of this album was not as radio friendly as what No More Tears was going to be. And I can see why they put the kibosh on that very fast. Because while the songs were okay, they didn't follow in the footsteps of No Rest for the Wicked, which was Ozzy's most metal album ever. And they didn't become No More Tears, which was one of Ozzy's most popish albums, if you will. This album, if they would have continued in the vein of where they were going, it probably wouldn't have been a good album. But Party with the Animals and Don't Blame Me, they're good, but they're B-side worthy. Then we go into Osmosis. Now, I know there's a whole Osmosis album out there. Not even going to talk about that. Maybe one day I'll talk about that, but I'm not going to talk about all those songs. I think there's 8 of them that are bonus tracks from Osmosis from, again, another album that was going to be done that Osmosis becomes whatever. I've heard it. I've heard these songs many times. I hate Osmosis. I think it's his worst album. Yes, even worse than Patient Number 9. And I've heard this, and I've had a lot of people tell me online, you got to hear these unreleased songs. Well, I've listened to them. They suck too. There was a no win-win either way. I think Osmosis, with the exception of Perry Mason. Perry Mason's awesome. But there was a song called Mrs. J. It's an instrumental. It's a pretty track. It was on a... Mrs. J, I think, came from No More Tears, actually. It was on the 30th anniversary of No More Tears. It's nice and pretty. I always kind of thought that maybe it was Zach's version of D, but I don't know who Mrs. J is, because his last name's Widland, something like that. I don't know. It's a track that sounds pretty, but definitely not album worthy. Now from Osmosis, the actual B-sides. This one's really good, and I think, with the exception of Perry Mason, better than anything that's on Osmosis. Whole World's Falling Down. Probably because it's written by Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw, and they were known at this time of pretty much being hit makers. Anything they wrote, was a money maker. And this song, I believe, was from that first version of Osmosis. They should have kept it instead of Denial and Old LA Tonight and My Little Man. The songs suck. Whole World's Fallen Down is a jam. It is a rocker. It should have been on Osmosis. Great song. Next one is Living with the Enemy from Osmosis. Nah. It falls into the rest of the Osmosis garbage that's out there. It's actually kind of better than the songs on the album, but I mean, yeah, it's B-side worthy. So not missing much with Living with the Enemy. Now, the song that I think is another one that's awesome that should have been on the album is Amy. Poor Kelly got screwed. You know what? So did Lewis. So did Jessica. So did Elliot. Who am I to say anything? But the song Amy is absolutely beautiful. That should have... I think that if that would have been on Osmosis, that could have been a hit. That could have absolutely been the hit on Osmosis. Beautiful, beautiful song. I love that song. Voodoo Dancers, the last one off Osmosis. No, you're not missing anything with that. It really is. It's like, here, we got an extra song. Got an idea for a song. Let's throw something together for the B-side of whichever. I think maybe it was See You on the Other Side. I don't know. One of those songs. Voodoo Dancers, nothing to write home about. Now we go on to Down to Earth. And these are actually... These two songs, you could have taken almost anything off this album, replaced it with these two songs, and the album would have been better. No Place for Angels is awesome. Dark Skies is awesome. These two songs are rockers. They are... They're dark, they're Ozzy-ish, they're kind of reminiscent of the same feel and mood of Bark at the Moon. Teetering into Diary of a Madman. Nowhere near as good as Diary of a Madman. Don't go nuts. But Dark Skies and No Place for Angels, these are really, really, really good songs. And coming off the B-sides of an album that I think was all over the place, they should have been on the actual album. You definitely... listen to those two. They're really, really good. Okay, now we get into this whole garbage with Sharon and her second version of the next two albums, the tour versions. So off Black Rain, which is a mediocre album as it is, you do have, in my opinion, one unbelievable gem. Creepy, weird, strange Nightmare. Nightmare is one of the three tour bonus tracks. It is fabulous. It is so strange. Again, kind of going back to the Waiting for Darkness thing with the keyboards and the really, really, and it's very spooky. Awesome song. I love Nightmare. Definitely taken anything off the second half of that stupid album and put Nightmare on there and you would have had a winner. I Can't Save You. It's okay. It sounds like something that would have been on Black Rain. Again, it's probably better than like 22 Silver or whatever. Civilize the Universe, Trapdoor, that garbage. It's okay. Love to Hate is the same thing. Love to Hate is even worse. Love to Hate is something that would be on the second side of Black Rain. Those two definitely B-side worthy, I guess. Then we go into Scream, and same thing. We have this tour edition after the real release, and again, one song is phenomenal. Now, I love Scream all the way through. If you would have taken out Latimer's Mercy and put in One More Time, you would have, man, I'm telling you, you would have had an album that would have been up there, not with the first two, but would have been up there with Bark at the Moon, would have been up there with No Rest. Yeah, I'll say it. Ultimate Sin, whatever. One More Time is just a jam. It's awesome. I don't know what in the hell they were thinking about leaving that song off and putting on a stupid song like Latimer's Mercy. I don't know anyone who likes that song. Hand of the Enemy is another one. Definitely a B-side. Definitely B-side-ish. A jam too, but whiny. Ozzy's kind of whiny, really whiny in that one. Yeah, definitely B-side worthy. The other one just Jump the Moon, which is good. Again, you could have taken Latimer's Mercy off that album and put Jump the Moon on there, and you would have had a much better album. Again, fast-paced, jam, great song. One More Time is awesome. Jump the Moon is damn good. Definitely an album song, not a B-side song. All right, now I'm going to go into these ones that kind of, were in limbo. Walk on Water, which was on the Beavis and Butthead Experience. It's a good song. It is a really, really good song. It could have fit on any of those later Ozzy albums, and Ozzy sounds great on that one. And there's a couple of versions. The one from Beavis and Butthead sounds better. So if you're gonna listen to one, find that one. But that one definitely could have been on any Osmosis Going On album, and it would have been a plus. Definitely more than a demo / But Beavis and Butthead were pretty huge at that point, so I can see why they wanted a good song on that album. And then from was The Ozman Cometh, I believe. I think an awesome song. Definitely should have been on an album. Back on Earth. I absolutely love Back on Earth. I can listen to that song over and over. It is, again, creepy, gothic, menacing. It is awesome. It should not have just been an extra track on a compilation album. You could have thrown one of those stupid songs off Black Rain, or one of the dumb songs off Osmosis, or something off a lot of the stuff off Down to Earth, and put that on there. Back on Earth is awesome. The last one is that Dog the Bounty Hunter theme. It's what it is. It's definitely, if it was going to be anything more than a theme for Dog the Bounty Hunter, it would have been a B-side. So that was my kind of 2 cents on all these B-sides and whatnot. I don't think I missed any. Now, again, I'm not touching on things where he played with other artists, like Hey Stupid, things like that. This is just solely Ozzy stuff. And I'm leaving, and I'm not going to touch things like Won't Be Coming Home, which eventually becomes SIN, because it becomes SIN. Things like that. I don't think I missed anything. Very possible. I hope that we get something. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get another box set. But I hope we do get something. Now, there's supposed to be a lot of stuff rolling around, man. There's supposed to be a lot of stuff. There's like this Rasputin thing that he did. He wanted to do a play of Rasputin. Then I guess there's almost an album worth of stuff that is unconventional. Then I know the last 2 albums are not really anyone's favorite. They're definitely not my 2 favorites, but there's stuff left off there. There's probably got to be stuff in the archives I'm really thinking from Bark at the Moon through No More Tears. I think if there's stuff sitting around in the archives, here you go, almost a fall, it's going to be through that era. I hope I'm right, because that's a pretty damn good era, and that's, the Bob Daisley era. So, all right, let me know what you think. What do you think about the B-sides? Do you like them? Tell me your 2 cents. And like I said, I'm going to do a video every day, including Christmas, because it's Ozzy. And really all I want for Christmas is just to listen to Ozzy, and yeah. All right. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I will see you.